Holy shit. Hey, this is John from John Geyer Official, and today I'm just taking a look at my income, where my money's going, and it's freaking me out. So this first video is going to be on budgeting. So as I'm taking a look at my income and where my money's going, the biggest thing that's freaking me out is that money is going nowhere and it's basically just burning. So what I've done so far is I've watched a bunch of videos on budgeting, personal finance, investing, stuff like that. And the best thing that I've come up with so far is Dave Ramsey. I encourage anybody to go check out his site and his videos on YouTube if you're having financial issues, or maybe you're making your bills, your bill payments, but you're not having anything left over, you have no emergency fund, stuff like that. Definitely go give Dave Ramsey a look. So one of the first things that I'm doing is you start out with figuring out what your monthly income is. That's very easy nowadays with bank apps. You can easily just go through the app, see where your deposits are coming from, and then it's pretty easy to get an idea of what your monthly income is going to be. So once you have your income figured out, another step that I would recommend taking is finding some kind of a budgeting app. And luckily I found on my laptop or my computer that I found the best one for me would be Every Dollar, which happens to be part of Dave Ramsey and his company and endeavors that he's doing to help people out. The reason I like this over some of the other apps out there is some of the apps that link to your account are super laggy. So basically what happens is you go to the store, you swipe your card, and like Mint is a good example, and there's I've tried Mint, but there's a couple other ones, and what I found is that it doesn't really stay logged into your account the way accurately, and it also like has gaps in time where you've spent money and then it doesn't show it. Or another thing that I found kind of frustrating about a lot of financial apps and budgeting apps is it doesn't categorize them correctly. Also, normally I've had Wells Fargo and I've had Bank of America, and I've noticed that they do the same thing too with your receipts and your interactions, is they don't categorize it very well either. Basically, like you can go to Circle K and you can buy drinks and chips and blah blah blah, walk out of there, and then you can go check your bank statement and it'll say, gasoline and transportation because you bought it at a gas station. So the only way you can really tell between what you're spending sodas and chips or whatever you happen to be getting in Circle K and what is actually going to fuel is the fact that you stop the pump at $10 exact. So you kind of have an idea, yeah, I remember doing that. I stopped the pump at $10, $20, whatever. And that's the only way you can really tell the difference between whether you're buying chips versus buying fuel. Smith's is one of those cool places that actually, when you look through your bank statement, at least on Bank of America, you can actually, it says food, and then it also says Smith's fuel. So that's actually a really awesome feature there. So after you get your income going, you can, the cool part about Every Dollar is you can break down into categories yourself. And so I have been doing that this last month, and that's the part that's really freaking me out. And the reason it's freaking me out is because I between myself and my wife and family and all that stuff, I've actually spent a lot of money. And I guess as you go about it, probably I'm not the only one that struggles with this, but you'll find yourself spending way more than you thought you did. So everything's really, really tight by the end of it. And the confusing part, and which helps with this app, probably not at first, but as you go through a few months, I found that when you manually put in your transactions onto the app, at least that's the way I've been doing it. So for a category that I have my income, which is the first one, savings, which unfortunately is 0, and then I have my cost of living, and that's pretty self-explanatory. I do put phone under there because I feel like that's a necessity. Rent, obviously, electric, water, sewer, trash, stuff like that. I also have a transportation group, obviously car payment, insurance. Another thing, I got fuel in a separate category, and then I broke it down in between stores so I could see actually monthly what I'm spending at each store. So Walmart, Bash's, Smith's. Since there's so many different fast food places, I actually just generalized a fast food group to see where that was going. Health for my gym membership, and then also, let me see here, I've started to do debt. I don't really have that entirely figured out, but that will be additional part. So looking at all this stuff, not only does it freak me out, it also gives me quite a bit of hope though, because now that I know where the money's going, and it's not just a bunch of transaction on a bank app where I check my balance before I go into a store to just make sure I have enough money. This is a way for me to really take a look at where my spending is going. I'm a vapor. So I even got down, where I spend my money at a local shop here in town, and let me see, to give you an idea of that, which I've actually spent more into that because we had some extra money from last month. But River Mist right here, $213 on vaping alone so far this month. Another thing was lifestyle. Okay, this is just like bits and ends, Dollar Shave Club. My wife does this thing called Ipsy, so she's on there, and kind of your oddball stuff, Hulu, and I also put daycare on there because that's kind of a lifestyle thing for us too. I mean, it just made sense to go there. But out of that, lifestyle was $226. So, if you only have an income that's, let's say, just under a two-person home, two-person income, and it's just $3,500 or $3,000, you can see right away why you're struggling. I think a lot of people just go through life just like I have and just kind of keep going, struggling without trying to make it better, without trying to come up with an answer on how to dig yourself out of the hole, how to get yourself an emergency fund in case your truck breaks down or your car breaks down, or you have to suddenly fly somewhere because a family member is sick or something like that. Instead of relying on family, it's a way to become more independent and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at with budgeting right now, is just inputting. This is the first month that I've done this. So I'm actually, the way I think I'll be able to do it next month is be able to every day, just really quickly, pull up every dollar and then input the transactions that I've made that day and really get close to where my money's going for the month of April. Also, another goal that I have next month is to really figure out the debt, medical bills, just the different miscellaneous things that I've had to go to the doctor. Most of it's medical stuff. I also have something involved in the court that I'm currently paying off. So it's a way for me to take a look at that and find out which one's the highest bill, which one's the lowest bill, which one has the highest interest, and learn how to snowball out of that. And if you go to Dave Ramsey, search for him, Google him, you will find definitely methods to get out of your financial stresses. A lot of people don't realize that their day-to-day actions are really hindering them from getting out of the hole. You know, a lot of people don't want to give up Starbucks. A lot of people don't want to give up fast food. A lot of people don't want to stop buying these things that they, you know, instead of meal prepping and stuff like that. They one of our problems that my wife and I have is that we buy dinner every night, and it's ridiculous. There's some transactions here, literally, that on the same day I'll spend $20 at Bash's', and then later that day or whatever I spend $12. So that's $32 that I spent at Bash's' in one day. That's ridiculous. You can budget so much better if you're meal prepping, which kind of goes along with the rest of my videos and personal development. So I mean, when you really take a look at it like that, it's kind of a no-brainer. So I encourage you, if you guys are struggling with budgeting and stuff like that, go ahead and take a look at this app. Again, go check Dave Ramsey out. He's does great videos and podcasts and stuff like that. And also stay involved in my channel, because as I experiment with this, I'm going to be posting more videos, not just in budgeting, but personal development altogether. All right, thanks guys.